It was supposed to be a routine dental checkup. Dr. Karen Mitchell had been a practicing pediatric dentist for over 15 years, and she had seen it all: nervous children clenching the chair arms, some crying before even opening their mouths, and parents hovering protectively, reassuring their little ones that everything would be fine. But today, something felt off. A man had walked into the clinic that morning, his hand gripping the shoulder of a small, frail-looking girl with blonde hair tied into 2 loose braids. The girl was quiet, eerily so. Most kids, even the nervous ones, fidgeted, looked around the room, or asked questions about the dental tools. But Lily sat completely still in the waiting area, her hands folded in her lap, her wide eyes locked on a spot on the floor, never straying. The father, if that's who he truly was an imposing figure. Dressed in a dark hoodie and jeans, his face partly concealed by a thick beard and shadowed under the fluorescent clinic lights, he radiated an unsettling presence. His voice was deep, clipped, devoid of warmth. "She has a toothache," he muttered, shoving the clipboard with her filled-out information form across the counter toward the receptionist. Dr. Mitchell's first red flag wasn't just the way he held onto the girl's shoulder. It was the pressure in his grip. His fingers dug in, firm and unmoving. Even as they waited for their turn, he never let go. When their name was finally called, he guided Lily into the exam room with an urgency that didn't sit right. Dr. Mitchell smiled warmly, crouching to Lily's eye level. "Hi there, sweetie. What's your name?" The girl hesitated, sneaking a glance up at the man before murmuring, "Lily." "Lily, that's a beautiful name. How old are you?" "9, she whispered. Dr. Mitchell noticed how Lily's body tensed as she spoke, as if afraid of saying the wrong thing. Most kids blurted out their age, sometimes proudly, sometimes playfully exaggerating. But Lily's hesitation was different. It was controlled, conditioned. She turned to the father. "You're welcome to wait outside if you'd like. We'll take great care of her." The man's eyes darkened. "I'll stay. Some kids feel more comfortable if they're parents." "I said I'll stay." His voice was low, but the weight behind it was chilling. A second red flag. Dr. Mitchell kept her expression neutral, but her nerves prickled. Something about the way he said it. It wasn't parental protectiveness. It was possessiveness. Deciding not to push further, she turned back to Lily. "Okay, sweetheart, let's take a look at those teeth." As she examined Lily's mouth, she noted the presence of some cavities, but nothing severe enough to justify the level of discomfort Lily was displaying. The child flinched with every touch, even when there was no pressure. "Lily, do you go to school around here?" Dr. Mitchell asked, her tone casual. Again, a pause. No. Where do you go?" Another hesitation. Then, barely above a whisper, "I don't remember." The man cut in quickly. "She's homeschooled." "That's wonderful. Lots of learning at home, then." Dr. Mitchell carefully tilted Lily's head slightly, using a dental mirror to examine her molars. "How long have you been homeschooled, sweetheart?" The hesitation was longer this time. Then, so quietly it was almost inaudible, "I don't know." Melissa, her assistant, subtly stepped out of the room. Dr. Mitchell knew what she was doing, getting someone to call for help. The unease in her gut had transformed into certainty. Something was dangerously wrong. Then she noticed something else. A faint, yellowing bruise on Lily's wrist, partially hidden by the sleeve of her sweater. Dr. Mitchell's stomach twisted. She carefully set down her tools, keeping her tone light. "Lily, before you go, do you want to pick a sticker? We have some adorable kittens and puppies." Lily's lips parted slightly in surprise. Her eyes flickered toward the man, as if silently asking for permission. That was all Dr. Mitchell needed to see. She stood up and walked toward the door. "Actually, before you leave, I need to grab something from the front desk." "Just a moment." As she stepped out, Melissa was already waiting, her face tense. "The police are on their way." Dr. Mitchell exhaled, steadying herself. "Good." She re-entered the room, her smile as normal as possible. "You know what? We actually need to do a quick X-ray just to make sure everything is okay." The man stiffened. "Is that necessary?" "It's quick and painless. Just a precaution." He hesitated, his eyes darting toward the door, his muscles visibly tensing. He knew something was wrong. Then, a loud knock at the front of the clinic. Police officers entered, their presence immediate and commanding. Dr. Mitchell turned to the man, who now had a sudden look of panic on his face. "Sir, I need you to step outside for a moment." The next moments were a blur of questions, protests, and accusations. But the moment Lily was pulled aside by an officer, everything unraveled. She burst into tears. "I don't know him," she sobbed. "He's not my dad." The room fell silent. Dr. Mitchell felt the air leave her lungs. The man, now restrained in handcuffs, no longer had his composed, watchful demeanor. His eyes, filled with fury, locked onto Dr. Mitchell. Lily was safe, but Dr. Mitchell knew, deep in her bones, that today had been a terrifyingly close call. A few hours more, and Lily might have disappeared forever. And all it had taken was noticing a frightened little girl who couldn't speak for herself. Moral points. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it usually is. Pay attention to the small details. Speak up when you sense danger. Even in everyday situations, stepping forward can save lives. Everyday heroes exist. You don't need a cape to change someone's fate. Sometimes, simple vigilance is enough. Children's fear is telling. If a child hesitates to speak or act normally, there's often a reason. A small action can prevent a tragedy. A single moment of attention can mean the difference between safety and harm. Lily was lucky, but how many other children weren't? Always be aware. Always be ready to help.